Hey guys, it is Chris here with another episode of Civ 5. Today will be our final part in the series, because we will win or lose today, depending on how things go down. And while I know how things will go down, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. So, we're going to do a little attack on Arabia here first. Because initially this was attempted to be recorded on the old PC, and we're on the new PC now. I do know how this attack goes. I don't know what happens to turn after this attack goes, because the PC from before couldn't load that, but I do know how this one goes. Just like last time, our poor XCOMs get absolutely riddled by 1,000 units. Sad state of affairs, but Arabia might just have too big of an army. We have a backup plan though. We are not without options. Backup plan is in Hira and Azulon. We can build the spaceship, hopefully before any other type of victory is achieved. And we're just going to keep dropping in XCOMs. Basically, we have 3 paths to pursue in order to close out this game as quickly as possible. One is to take Mecca. If we take Mecca, we win the domination victory. That's what it's called. God, my brain is a little scattered today. We also could start working on our World Congress standings. We can't win that way, but Arabia can win that way. So we can take a few city-states off of him via election rigging and gold production. That would give us more time to think through our options. And then our third option is to just rush the spaceship and see if we can catch him off guard that way. I'm pretty close to having all the techs for the spaceship necessary, so building it won't be as big of an issue as it would be normally. I gotta get back into Civ combat with some more experience, because I have had a lot of combat in my game with Civ. I've played a crap ton of Civ, but I'm just a little bit rusty here. I'm about to say, me from the past probably wouldn't have sent a bunch of XCOMs to their deaths.
Only within the moment.
Then again, it's hard to tell what Arabia had. They are significantly behind us on tech, so I guess we were kind of hoping that they didn't have anything that would be able to really hurt the XCOMs. He has a cavalry unit for every tile. Good for him. London's actually missing a bank. And it's starving, but they're English, so it's not too big of a concern for us. If it was an Incan city, that'd be different. I think it's a little bit wrong, because of all the characters in the game, Elizabeth has been the least confrontational with us. Least, not really what I'm looking for, but least pain in the side, I guess. We fought her, but we're the one that initiated the war. The only real slight that she has against us is that she settled that one city that we wanted. Denied us the use of our terrace farms because we didn't have any mountains. We are still in the tank as far as demographics go. We're gonna peace out with Arabia here. That way we can start focusing on the science victory. Two of our XCOM survive. They'll be welcomed home as heroes. Give them retirement privileges, that kind of thing. Give them a pension. We can name one of them the Poet Laureate of the Incan Empire. That'll be a nice reward for their service. We got our first missile cruiser online. I doubt we'll need it anymore. With the 10-turn peace treaty plus the upcoming World Congress that's going to be coming. I don't actually know if it'll be coming this time around or the next time around. But we have between 20 and 8 turns to secure a victory. Which some of you may hear that and begin to panic because we spent so much time just floundering around that pulling off a victory in 20 turns may not seem possible, but I assure you it is. We're very close to the necessary tech. We have parts building. As long as they can keep the construction cost of the units that we don't have yet under 20 turns, we'll be fine. Honestly, for me, the funnest parts of a game of Civilization V is the beginning, where you're just settling out and you're trying to stack on advantages to get ahead, and then the end where you're racing towards the actual victory condition. Because in those two scenarios, it really does kind of feel like a race for resources, for the victory, for just the kind of things you need for your empire to do well into the middle game. The middle game is fun in its own right, but it's more like a game of tug-of-war in the middle, where you're pulling for something, then your opponent tries to pull for it, and city-states exchange hands of influence, cities exchange hands from players. So it's a little more grindy in the middle game, which, as an RPG fan, I do like grindy content, but sometimes with Civ, when it's too even, it gets a little frustrating because you're grinding out, but you're not making any progress. That's my one complaint about the mid-game of Civ. I actually don't know what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I might just record some of the Skyrim that I've been playing and upload that. Because I don't know of anything else I could record. I do know things to record, but I have not gotten StarCraft set up on my new computer yet. That might be worth trying to do this evening. There's like a StarCraft 1 campaign mission, like for the weekends, wouldn't be that bad. International Space Station, yes, we want that. That'll give us another free scientist and possibly the victory condition, although Arabia probably has more production than us, so we might not be able to secure a win. But if Arabia thinks he can actually race us to space, he's a bit delusional, because we are way ahead in that race. So we're going to start building the space station. Switching over to production focus so that we can get the most production out of it that we can. Unlike with multiplayer, you can actually start building a project before other players realize that they need to start building it. If you switch like all of your cities over to production focus, and no one else is proactive about it, you can basically get like 30 to 40% of the project done before anybody else really starts contributing. And if you can get that done, it means that you can basically get secured the first place prize. However, in single player, that's not always the case, because the AI is pretty proactive about getting on projects as soon as they're available. See, the new computer is so nice for recording games like this. We went from a recording of 30 frames a second to 60 frames a second. So, actually not that bad of an increase. And I can play Skyrim, which is really nice. I mean, I have Skyrim on the old Xbox 360, but quality over there wasn't always the nicest. I mean, the Xbox 360 was a really good console, but it could struggle sometimes. And that was because the first version of Skyrim that was released on it also wasn't that optimal of a game. Like, Bethesda, for all of their, all of the good things they've done for us with gaming over the years, kind of bad at making games. Like, they're good at making fun games. Like, on the technical side, a little behind the times, I'm afraid to say. Like, their engine's like, what, 20 years old? They don't always, I say they don't always, I don't know if they actually ever do like quality control, game testing purposes, because like launch Skyrim was really buggy. And Morrowind, my favorite game from them, it was also really buggy. Like, Oblivion, they fixed some of the bugs from Morrowind, but they also kind of dumbed things down, so it wasn't as complicated, so that the bugs wouldn't be... There wouldn't be enough interactions to really create that many game warping bugs. But to be fair to Bethesda, most of the bugs you can play around in. You can play Morrowind, Skyrim, and Oblivion as the developers intended. So, it is an option, but like, once you know the Soul Trap glitch in Morrowind or the training glitch, it's kind of hard to go back to normal. And in Morrowind, you had the Ogma Infinia until it got patched. That was a fun glitch. You also have the restoration glitch. I don't know if it got fixed in the Legendary version on PC. I have vague recollections of playing Skyrim on PC before, and it not working. But I also kind of doubt that. So we got a free scientist out of the deal. That means that we'll be able to get our spaceship part in relative good order. We've already put 2 in our spaceship, so I put 3 in. 3 or 2. It looks like we're going to focus on wealth for a little bit. Which is probably a mistake. But it's not going to be too catastrophic of a mistake. We are trying to get the spaceship part out as quickly as possible, so we're going to go back on science production. Science and gold means that we'll be able to run through these production queues as quickly as possible. We can't let the communists or the autocrats win. Although I think there are only communists in this world. Because I think England and Arabia are communist. And me and Japan are freedom. So we're the democracies. I always knew Japan was a good guy. Gonna automatic purchase Great Scientist. That'll help us move along our science even faster. Although the spaceship part is really the only thing that we're looking for. As far as actual science is concerned. And he is really close to winning. So remember how I gave you that 20 turns earlier? That's what that was about. We can't really stop him here from winning the vote, which means he'll be up to 28. We've been trying to take his city-state allies off of him, but that's not working, so in 12 turns after this turn, he will win the game. If we can't stop him. And he's apparently a culture victory contender as well. Which is really not good for us. To be fair though, he's only influential with Japan, which got crippled early in the game. We are slowing him down a great deal, so despite me complaining about always having garbage culture, our culture is what's keeping Arabia in check at the moment. Although it won't do it forever. We gotta start building these spaceship parts. And hopefully we don't bankrupt ourselves in the process.
تعال دعنا نتاجر.
So, luckily for us,
حسنا.
the production queue here has favored us, and because these are both 11 turns for an actual victory condition. So, 11 turns means we can, in theory, get all 3 of those spaceship parts before the end of the game. And then we have 7 turns here, which means we would have 5 turns to actually get the last part of the spaceship. And I say 20 because there's 2 cores of 6. So there might actually be a turn in between there, so we might have 13 turns. And I don't know how the game would end if we actually got the spaceship put together on the turn that Rashid wins. I'd assume we'd still be okay. You can have Earth, and we'll go have Alpha Centauri.
Every
Working our way towards the internet. Nothing else to really get at this time. Starting to build up some caravans. I realized in London that we were completely embargoed, so cargo ships wouldn't do us any good. But we can use caravans to support our 2 cities that are lagging a little bit behind in the production of spaceship parts. And considering that these caravans take only 1 production to build, we can pretty much have one of our little cities building them every turn. And then just funneling production into these core 3 cities. So their capital is going to be the first city that's actually done with its spaceship part. So it will be the one that's in charge of actually getting out the last spaceship part before the deadline comes. We are on a tightrope. I would like the first Civ game that I record on my channel to be a victory. Although I have cut it very close here. So to be fair, this has actually been pretty decent. Generally, when I come back to Civ after a while of putting the game aside, I don't do as well. I think in that regard we're actually doing fine. Getting a Zulon's more production. More caravan. We definitely looked like the bad guys in this this round of Civ. Like you wouldn't expect us to be like the United States of this world, but we kind of are. Arabia's kind of like the China. England, Japan, I guess, or Canada and Mexico. It's the nicest comparison I can think of. Although we technically did invade Mexico at one point. Because we went to war with them in the Spanish-American War. No, maybe not. There was Texas independence. So we have had some conflict with Mexico. don't think it's actually as extensive as I first thought, but we originally gone to war with Canada too when they were colony for England. It all makes sense. We were communist. We could actually use our great engineer sitting in Hira to rush one of these spaceship parts, but we are not. We are freedom, which means we can buy them, which would be great if we didn't have to have such a massive army. So at this point, we're building them and rebasing them so that we can get production to where it's needed the most. We're gonna nay the Marple ban. We don't want Marple to be banned. Marble's good for us. So we have 6 turns. Six turns to win the game. Gotta beef up capital city production. Gotta get more caravans going. Got it down to 5. So we will win the game if everything stands as it is. I think it's actually a pretty hard game to commentate on. I didn't realize that back in the day when I used to watch Civ. Because either you're explaining what you're doing or you're just rambling about other things. And it's a hard mix to get a hold of because while I'm prone to rambling about things, I think it's probably better to explain in more detail what you're doing, but I sometimes just gloss over things because I'm moving through this as expediently as possible. So we don't have like a 40-minute episode. We're gonna get close though. Yeah, and Arabia has locked down Sidon, so the race is just what it is on the table. Can our production get the job done in 6 turns? This would probably not work in multiplayer, because basically somebody would say that we were winning a space race, because everybody would know we'd basically be putting in spaceship parts. And one nuke would ruin our day. Because if one of our 3 production cities gets nuked, that'll increase the amount of turns required for the build significantly, which would mean we would lose. That being said, it's also a bit of a catch-22 in a multiplayer setting, because me or Arabia is going to win in 5 turns. Like, one of us will win. You can't stop both of us. In fact, we're probably the only players in the game with the capability of stopping another player. I mean, I've tried stopping Arabia by force, and that didn't work out for me, so I guess it's pretty much all in Arabia's hands at the moment. We discovered the internet. Got 154 tourism. Not enough to win a tourism victory, but
تعال دعنا.
a decent amount. A decent amount. Tourism is a really fun mechanic. I've had a fair number of really decent tourism games. Brazil is particularly fun with it because you can get carnivals rolling out, and the wood farm, Brazilian wood farms, are really good tile improvements. And you get near jungles, which means your universities are going to be pulling double. So it is really good. Azulon has completed the second booster. They can build a helicopter now. Gonna increase our gold from trade routes with other players, which we can't do, so that doesn't really matter too much. Got 2 turns until we win the game. Final booster will go in, and we just wait one more turn. There's currently nothing that can stop us from winning the game. Especially if we had like a stubborn worker that decided to sit itself in Capital City, it would have been delayed by a turn, but luckily the ordering kind of favored us as well, because even if there was a worker in the city, we could have just had the booster wait outside, moved it during our next turn, and then moved everything in and launched it. So we are fine with whatever happens.
You have achieved victory through mastery.
And we have won the game.
You have conquered the
Executing
mysteries
has
of
won.
nature and led your people on a voyage to a brave
Victory.
new world. Your
It was a long and bloody road, but
as long as the stars
we got
burn
there.
in the night sky.
Let's take a look at the map. So it looks like our continent's the one with the fastest start. We got out our 4 cities, England got out their 4 cities, Japan got 3. We're going to be taking some Japan cities here. It took a while to actually get their capital. But that solidified our empire as the strongest one on this continent. And then we're going to take London. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching so much. This has been Civ 5 for the channel. It's been a fun game. Really enjoyed it. And I hope you liked it. So that'll be all for now. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Goodbye for now.